Cassidy-Rae is a versatile and dynamic artist who is from New South Wales sometimes, as she is frequently found on the high seas and entertaining thousands of people as she does so. She has released several delightful singles. The latest is Fangirl, so I'm going to ask her about that and also about her work on the high seas and perhaps some other things. Hello, Cassidy-Rae.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm very happy to talk to you again, and I'm particularly intrigued by that necklace you are wearing.
Thank you. It's one of my favorites. I just created this really cool merch. It's a guitar USB. And so I love wearing it because it's like such a fashion statement. And I mean, just in case people didn't understand that I was a musician or liked music, it's right here to point it out.
So it's practical jewelry because, as you said, USB, so you can carry
Right?
your backups with you.
It's nothing if not practical. That's what I'm here for.
Look, I think it's a great idea. As someone who likes to carry USB myself, to back
Right?
up.
And it's so handy when somebody's like, oh, let me just send you information if they don't have AirDrop because they don't have an iPhone yet, because the world isn't taken over by iPhones. You can just go, hey, I have a USB. Let's
Yeah,
like trade.
yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
for it, and it's everyone should back up their files. Is the moral of the story.
Right.
But we're not here to talk about backing up files. We're here to talk about your latest single, Fangirl. So I'm going to start by asking you, who are you fangirling for at the moment?
Oh my goodness. So many artists. I mean, Taylor Swift. I am a big Swiftie. I've been a fangirl for years, decades. Too many to count. Let's move on from that. I'm a fan of Shepherd and their latest song, Edge of the Earth. My goodness, they're hitting some good notes with that. I'm fangirling over literally everybody. I mean, I just went and saw Morgan Evans. I'm about to go see Amber Lawrence this weekend. Next weekend is Brad Cox, or the opposite way round. I am fangirling over good music, I feel. So, comes with good taste.
Absolutely, and the artists you have just named, all emblems of good taste. But who did you very first fangirl for when you were perhaps a much younger person?
Well, if it wasn't Taylor Swift, it was like Delta Goodrem, just because I grew up in the hills where she also grew up. I grew up playing piano. She grew up playing piano. To kind of like see that similarity and see a singer-songwriter actually being successful, sharing their own stories, being able to actually tell their own journey, to me was very inspirational musically. And I mean, Taylor Swift in the way that she connects with her fans. And of course, you can't get over like Faith Hill and Shania Twain. My mum would pump those tunes every time we'd get in the car to drive up to Brisbane and back. My goodness, 10 hours just on repeat, just, breathe and kiss me. And oh gosh, love it. I love it too much. I love it. It's too much.
You love it too much, though. I think that's part of the essence of fangirling is I don't think it can be too much. Obviously, if one ventures into stalker territory, that's too much. But the
Yeah.
fangirl sensation is not that. Fangirling is just effusively loving something and supporting it.
Got it. It's like this healthy obsession. I think, a couple of years ago, fangirling and the idea of fangirling or fanboys or fans in that idea were kind of looked at a little bit curiously. Like people I don't think understood what it was, fandoms, and they kind of saw negative sides to it. And fangirling is literally just appreciating something or someone. And if you know where somebody is born, or if you know where a musical artist is born or how many songs they've released, that is a level of fangirling. You can be with your hairbrush in your room singing to all your favorite songs. You can be front row at the show, decked out in all merch, and anywhere in between is a fandom or a fanboy or a fangirl. And it's definitely a healthy obsession, not stalker territory. So I feel like there is too much, but I've never gone too much.
I do remember Harry Styles saying a little while ago when he was in One Direction and someone was casting aspersions about the fact that all the One Direction fans were girls, young girls. And he said something like, young girls are sick. They are the best fans in the world. Like if they really love you, they really let you know. And I thought it was such a great way to turn that presumption that it was the implication that their music was somehow less than if they had a certain type of fan. In that instance, it was girls. But he was completely right, then that's fangirling. Literally, that's where it comes from.
Oh, 100%. Like and I don't think any real demographic is like the wrong demographic or like something to be looked negatively upon. I have people of all ages that like my music, and at the end of my show they'll come up and it'll be like whole family and the dad and the mum and the daughters will all be like, we are fanboys and fangirls. So no matter the age, as long as you're like obsessed and having so much fun that you want to know more, that's like the start of a fangirl, and it's totally okay.
And now some of those fans could actually sing the song Fangirl back to you, because I saw a video on your social media of dozens of them. In fact, you didn't need to say anything or sing anything. You played piano and they sang your song to you.
It made my heart so happy, because what they'd done is they'd gone out on their vacation to islands that didn't have internet, bought internet so that they could download the lyrics or download the song, write out the lyrics. They spent all day learning the lyrics. So then they came that night and they were like, play Fangirl, play Fangirl, play Fangirl. And I was like, alrighty, and I record things. Because it's great to post and to be able to share with people, that have gone off that haven't seen the show, that have seen the show and want to keep seeing it. B, my parents actually never get to see me perform on ships because it's a ship and they have a job. And so I actually take videos and send them to it. And I was like, okay, they keep going, play Fangirl, play Fangirl, play Fangirl. I'm like, I'm just going to record this. I think this might be really cool. And that whole night, I ended up having an entire 3 hours on my phone recorded of just song after song. They were like, play Fangirl, play one more song, play Coldplay, play, Cheers Y'all. We've learned all the words. Play Damn It Feels Right, play Dose of You, please, man. And I'm like, how do you know this? This is crazy. And then come up with moves. And I'm like, I am obsessed with you. I'm living for this. So I love sharing that. That made my heart so happy. And those boys look so in love. Bless their cotton socks. I rewatched that probably more than most.
Look, if I were you, I'd rewatch it too. But we should give some context, which is when you said, they've gone off to places that have internet. You do perform on cruise ships quite regularly to many different people. And so obviously this was a group of people who had been following you for a little while, long enough to know that you had this new single, and then that they would go off.
Days.
Sure, yeah.
Days. It was a 7-day cruise, and they found out on the first day that I had a song because, people will come up and they want to get to know you, and it's 4 hours of performing. And so thankfully this show gets to be really immersive and really interactive. And they were like, well, what's your favorite song? And I'm like, my favorite songs are my songs. So within 2 days, they had learnt these songs. But they'd actually never met me before, which is so cool. And I mean, ships are something that I don't really see a lot of musicians doing, especially in the Australian country music scene. But for me, it was I loved music when I was at university. I'd gotten an opportunity to audition for a Carnival Cruise Lines residency, and kind of just was like, hey, it's 2 months out of my year. Let's dip my toe in the water, and it ended up being this really great opportunity to fund my own music.
Mm-hmm.
And make fans. I mean, instead of picking up phone calls and being an assistant, and doing a dead end job to try and pay for something that I'm passionate about, I literally get to get up every single day and sing and create a show and build this incredible immersive interactive show to then fund my music. It's awesome.
I remember you telling me in a previous interview that your first job doing that, you turned up thinking it was going to be performing one sort of thing, and you were presented with a book of songs and well, here's everything that you may be asked to perform tonight.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Turns out that Australian songs played at pubs and clubs are different to what Americans sing, and nobody had heard of Jimmy Buffett. I'd called him Jimmy Buffet for 2 whole months before somebody was like, you realize it's Buffett? And I'm like, no, you are I was stubborn. I stood my ground. I'm like, no, it's Buffet. And they're like, no, darling, it's Buffett. And I was like, it's buffet. And they're like, it's Buffett. And I was like, we'll go upstairs and I'll meet you at the buffet and we'll discuss it there. And it turns out I was extremely wrong. But so many other things, I'd never heard of Joy to the World by Three Dogs. And I'd never heard of oh goodness, how many songs. Oh, Devil Went Down to Georgia is a nightmare. So many cool stories though, and thankfully now I know over 1,000 songs, so it's kind of cool to be able to have those memories. I'd never even heard Wagon Wheel, so to be fair, I was obviously living under a rock of some sort.
Also, there are just a lot of songs in the world, so I think it's fair that you didn't know every song they expected you to play.
Yeah, Yeah, let's go with that reasoning. I love that. I would love to change the story to that. Let's make it all about like no accountability on my part.
Well, you did show up to do the job, and you, as you said, you're showing up 4 hours a night each night while you're on these cruises. So I'm interested in the energy it takes to do that and how you protect yourself energy wise and how you protect your voice, given that it's back to back to back.
Oh my gosh, it's been over 8 years that I've been doing these residencies all over the world. My first cruise, I had no understanding of vocal health, that I would like wake up at 12 in the day with no voice. People would know on the ship, like I'd walk around and I'd learnt my own little form of sign language, because I'd like say hi to people and just be like, I'm not even speaking. I would warm up for 3 hours and even just to talk and then warm up to start even performing. And that was, I think, 72 days was my first contract. And from then on, I kind of learned, okay, steam, tea, breath outside, because, you know, living on a ship can kind of get dusty air vents, nebulizers, throat lozenges, warm ups, the best vocal warm ups, strengthening. So thankfully, it's honestly a learning thing and trial and error, because what may work for some people doesn't work for another person. I've been still learning. Like I've only just gotten my brand new nebulizer just recently, so I'm ready for this year. But the energy wise, honestly, it kind of feels like the way that my stage is set up is not very much like a stage and then an audience in front. It is fully immersive. So I'm actually in the middle of the room where the crowd physically surrounds me. So there's not like there's a whole 360 view, which means there's kind of never like a dead energy. And it means that it is fully immersive. Like the minute that I play a song that everybody can sing, it feels like you're standing with speakers surrounding you, because the entire crowd will sing it back at you.
Wow.
And so thankfully, when I'm losing energy, I can feel the crowd losing energy, which is a rare thing, because you get on this high of like people loving your songs and loving this show and loving this journey and this story and this energy, and they just kind of get riled up and build it up, that you kind of like get on this high that by the end of the night, you're like at like 12 midnight, 1 a.m. and you're like, I'm still ready to go. And everybody's like, we're still here with you. And like, it's this massive energy of like joy that it almost feels like it's reverberating off every single person, that I'll have them like standing on tables, standing on chairs, standing on each other on the shoulders, and they'll just be literally like moving, and it feels like waves of sound. It's amazing, and it almost makes you want to cry when you get to those moments. And it's even like it's such a high, and the reason why I watch that video over and over again is because they're doing that on my song, and like it got bigger and bigger, and there's people behind the screen that you're not seeing, and there's people literally all over the room. And thankfully, like fans have captured moments where they've actually panned and you can see the entire crowd like jumping. But yeah, the energy honestly is electric and constantly reverberating off each other, that it's kind of easy to keep that going for 4 hours,
But I
30
guess,
minutes.
yeah, it also takes a lot of experience to work out how to harness it for your own ends, because it definitely there's that idea of energetic returns that you know what you're putting out, you get back so that you can continue for that long to perform. But I would imagine, yeah, it's because it's nothing you can see. There's no handbook for it. It's something you have to learn, and it's almost a what I would want to say a magical process more than a mystical process, because it's kind of like alchemy in a way.
Oh my goodness, it feels like it. Like you need to know the right story and the right journey. And honestly, you can't be fake. Like in any sense, like it is so authentic that it's like, okay, I'm going to tell you what's going on in life right now and what's happening with my day and what's happening with, you know, what I'm creating, because I have so much time to kind of create that space that I can't just make it up and go, here is the story that I am presenting you. It is like, here is this journey that we're going on together. And it becomes this like magical, like, what's the adventure tonight?
Yeah, it's quite a talent. It's a talent and a skill, I think, and it all originates from the intention to create that experience for the audience and to connect with them. And I think you need both of those things. Like you can have a willingness to connect, but if you're not able to create the experience, then the connection may just fall over.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I think it's like so important for me, because music is less about an escape. Music isn't therapy. You know, when I first started, writing music was definitely that, and definitely that drive behind songwriting. But, you know, as I started performing and as I kept creating these shows, music became less an internal thing and more an external thing, about providing joy, about how I can, you know, connect heart to heart with people and how best to do that. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I work really hard on it to make sure that it's successful as it is. And you know, now I'm really excited because I get to take this show that I've created and bring it to land. And we're working, the team and I, on venues to bring it all over the east coast of Australia, and actually kind of like take a band, take just me, and kind of like sit down and kind of take people on that immersive journey. Maybe not for 4 hours, maybe for a little bit less, but still just as fun.
Yeah, maybe you'll have a support act who can take some of the pressure off.
Just a little bit, like, come on, a little bit of a break, maybe not 4 hours.
But I was interested in, and I had a question about how the experience of entertaining like that has influenced your songwriting, the choices you make as a songwriter. And I think you've just said that idea of it being external now, to you, not necessarily internal. But also, if we bring it back to Fangirl, I'm curious whether that song is a direct result of your work doing this.
Literally, you've hit your head on the nail right there. Like, I had a little girl come up to me at the end of one of my shows, and she said the words, "It's safe to say I'm obsessed. I'm going to be fangirling." And I thought that that was such a cool song. And I love writing about, you know, when words fail, music speaks. I love writing about moments in time. And I think writing about an experience like a show, like a festival, like a performance is very underwritten. Like, it is this whole niche that is not yet talked about. And I went, you know, this is my life right now. I'm constantly on the road. I'm constantly performing. And this is an experience that I should write about. And, you know, I am that girl that's with my hairbrush in my room singing along. And I will be on April, when Taylor Swift releases the Tortured Poets Department. You know, I'm that front row of the show. I was there for Morgan Evans. I was there. I'm going to be there for Amber Lawrence and for Brad Cox. And for the next shows, I'm going to have people come to my show at the Gem Hotel, and they're going to be front row of the show. You know, so Fangirl is definitely written because of the experiences of live shows and live performances that I've kind of created, as is One More Song, as is the next song and the next song after that we're kind of like in the scenes working on.
So One More Song was your previous single, and it's had almost 500,000 streams on Spotify alone. So I think that proves the concept, really, like, about connection. And yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, even at the end of Morgan Evans, everybody's screaming, "One more song." And I was like, isn't this the perfect moment to sing a song called One More Song? Just putting it out there. Another support act, I'm here. No, but seriously, it's such a common thing that you see at festivals, at shows, at gigs, where people are like, I just want this to keep going. I just don't want these good vibes to end. And I was having that night after night after night, that I kind of ended up going to my fans and my crowd going, you know, if you keep chanting this, I'm just going to write a song called One More Song. So at least when you chant it, I'm just going to play you one of mine. And they didn't take that as a warning. They took it as a challenge. And, you know, that's how it was written. It is bonkers to me that it's over 500,000. I can't believe the support that it's gotten, as is Fangirl. But, you know, it's so cool to actually write about the stories that people have been with me. And to kind of be like, here's something from our life that we now get to see in a song.
Now, both of these songs were created with Michael De Laurentiis and Michael Painter from MSquared in Melbourne. So how did you come to work with them?
Magical moments. I had these ideas of what I wanted the sound to sound like, the song to sound like. And, you know, inadvertently, they actually popped up in my radar, in my sphere. And I went, look, I really want to work with you. I want to create some magic with you. Music is such a community atmosphere that it's never just like one person that you stick to, that you always get to keep working and bouncing and collaborating with artists. And inadvertently, like, the songs and the sounds that they were producing were really the sound that I wanted to create with these songs. And I was like, look, I really want to collaborate and see what we can kind of magically create together. And it's honest, they're full on magic. They, you know, bibbity boppity boomerang it into something so beautiful.
Do you write while you're working on a cruise ship? So those intense days, is there any space for you to have creative flow other than the performance?
So much. So thankfully, a lot of my shows are actually at night, unless I have a second show at the day. And so I actually spend my days most of the time, if I'm not on the computer talking to my team, working out the next process, because we're so excited to get this show to Australia because they've been seeing it so consistently on the ships that I kind of want to go, okay, thank you. You've come to me. Now I want to come to you. So I'll be on my computer talking to my team, making plans, making strategies, ordering more merch. I actually ran out of merch one night, completely ran out. There was a whole story. We had to get, my mum had to send more merch. Like I was like, I'm literally leaving merch at her house going in case I run out, and the emergency happened. Um, Otherwise, I'm at the piano writing new songs, creating new content, working on the content that I'm then going to post with very little internet that's given to you at sea, because nobody considered that when creating internet.
And you're also still doing lives, I've noticed on social media. So that's a commitment that you've had to your fans for quite a while now. One that you possibly could have let go of, given that
Oh yeah.
pandemic years are over, but you have maintained it. So what's important to you about doing those lives?
The fans, 100%. They are literally everything. I could do nothing without the fans. I could make as much music as I want and sing all that I wanted in my bedroom. And honestly, I could play on ships for the rest of my life, but these fans absolutely make this magical and make this all worthwhile. I mean, you can be the best at what you can be in the world, but it means nothing if you don't have anybody to share it with. And I'm so grateful I have such an incredible community that just want to stop and talk, as well as listen to the songs, as well as connect to the songs, as well as just connecting in the disconnect during COVID. But they just want to chat. Like, it's more than just, this fan to artist relationship, that they've become friends, that I know about their life. But I even got to do something really cool, and the minute that I got off the ship, I actually drove all the way out to Ipswich in Queensland and surprised one of my fangirls. Her name is Jess, for her 21st birthday, and actually just got to like sing her some of my favorite songs and her favorite songs, just at her party, because she's been so lovingly supportive of my songs that I got to do something a little bit extra. So these lives are fundamental to me. That I would be nothing without my fans.
I'm interested because you are a rare performer in terms of your surveying the landscape, the global landscape. You are meeting fans from all over the world. You are experiencing directly what people need, I guess, not just what audiences want, but what they need. And so I'm interested in your sense of what the mood is, I guess, amongst audiences. Are they looking mainly for entertainment? Are they still wanting, slower songs or sadder songs? As a performer, that's insight that you have that many people.
What a great thing that I must have. Honestly, everybody is so unique, that my demographic of fans, uh, ranging from people that just listen to, more and need to like sing their heart out and cry while driving, hopefully safely, so that they can still see the road. And then there's people that just want to sing amazing and just want to feel good about their day. And then there's people that, are living for one more song and fangirl because they're just wanting to recreate those memories that they had. So I went to work with some publishers in Nashville and actually played for them my song, One More Song. And even they were saying, when they're sending songs to get cut by record labels and by artists, they go in and record labels are expecting, upbeat, extremely catchy songs, and they present this really sad song, and record labels are like, yeah, that's what we want. So it's actually ultimately dependent on the song, as well as the story that you want to create. And thankfully I'm in an environment where the story that I want to create is really positive and really high vibe, and really a positive perspective or a positive spin on everything that I'm doing. So I don't know, I think I'm guessing inadvertently attracting an audience that also wants good vibes and is down for a good party or an upbeat song. You never know.
But you do have those other songs that are sadder, shall we say, because they're dealing with subject matter that is difficult, but you put it out there for people, and allow them to feel that sadness in their own lives, which I think is an important role for a storyteller.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, Next Chapter was a song that I wrote that was very traumatic, literally being left on a side of a road from a toxic relationship, being told that he didn't like it when I wore makeup, refused to kiss, and would point out all the flaws when I didn't wear makeup. I was too close to my family and didn't have enough friends when I was on the opposite side of the world. And you know, even when he broke up with me, he said, hey, at least you're going to write a good song about this. For me, that's a really traumatic song.
Mm.
And, you know, I just wanted to make this like whole spin on it and go, well, you know what, it's time for the next chapter. And releasing that to the world, the fans kind of took it and made this whole like spin of like new month, new day, new chapter. That's what this song is. It's this upbeat vibe. And so they kind of didn't have that trauma with them. It became a completely different song. So yeah, I do have those traumatic songs, but thankfully there's been such a positive spin from everybody else
Yeah.
on them when I've released it that I'm like, that's a better story than my story. I like that story. We'll go with that one. Like new day, new month, next chapter. Like, let's go for this. And the same goes with Wanted. Like I wrote that about an ex. And you know, I released that and actually played it at one of my shows, and a couple literally loved it and fell in love with it so much that they started dancing and crying and like ran out of the room. And I was like, that's such an odd experience, but okay, and left it. And 5 minutes later, they came back with all of their family going, can you please play that? We just got engaged literally tonight. That was our first dance. We don't know anything about our wedding, but we know that that's going to be our first dance song. And that's actually our love story. And I was like, that's what this song is. It's your love story. It's not mine anymore. It's yours. I love this. Stay together forever. So yeah, like definitely different.
But I guess also that's how, you know, your fans change your own story for you. These interpretations they have in your songs, that means that the story that originated the song is different now, and you're different because of it, I would imagine.
Oh, 100%. I guess I now don't look at like more as being this heartbreaking song, but being this song that so many have come and gone, you know, this has changed my life for the better. And, you know, this has given me hope. I wasn't alone. And I was like, you know what, my absolute joy was to connect heart to heart. And I've done that. So goal made, you know, I'm so happy that it's changed because of that. So yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like there is some new music some point in the future coming. And also
There is.
these
I am
shows
a sucker for new music. We are going to be having such a good night when it's released. I will be dropping so many Easter eggs. It's ridiculous. Probably already have once or twice in this interview.
Okay.
People should rewatch it and try and catch up. But seriously, it's going to be so much fun. I've been loving getting to release singles just to be able to let people enjoy the song and the story that it is. So yeah, definitely more music in the works and getting ready to hit the runway.
Yes, and the shows, people keep an eye on your social media and your website, I'm sure, because that will be exciting. I'm looking forward to coming to one.
Oh my goodness, 100%. I will count you on the list. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to be taking the show out on the road, starting with, you know, a cute little show to get things warmed up already before I hit another residency this month, I think, in like 21st of April. I don't know how many days that is away, but it's then, and I will be playing songs, and people should definitely come. It's in Brisbane. But then we'll be taking all the shows down to New South Wales, Victoria, and South Australia. So definitely all the reasons to come along and sing along.
Fantastic. Well, if the date's posted, I will put it in the notes for this interview so people know where to find you on the 21st.
I love it.
Cassidy-Rae, as ever, so delightful to speak with you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.